Hello, my name is Simeon Golden. I am a school teacher. I'm 38 years old, and I want to give my story because this is a story of love and heartbreak, and also just some warnings for people that are dating online and some things to look out for. I want to start by saying the person that I dated, I have no ill will towards. In fact, I don't regret dating this person at all, but there are some things that I want to share with other people. So I had waited so long to date because of my religion, because of fear or whatnot, and I finally stopped looking. All my friends would say, "Stop looking for love, and you'll find it." And so I did. I stopped looking for love, and one day I was just scrolling on Facebook and I saw this amazing glowing person, and I said, this is who I want to marry, this is who I want to be with. Maybe that was a little hasty on my part, but I was really excited. I reached out, started talking to him, and he lives all the way in the Philippines. And I was warned by my friends and my family about certain things to watch for when you're dating overseas, but I just wanted to push forward because I wanted it to work out. So I made it happen. I flew for the first time all the way to the Philippines, and I met this amazing person. Like, he picked me up from the airport. We went to an Airbnb. All of his family was there. I mean, aunts, cousins, and it was sort of like love at first sight for me. I felt like everything was genuine, And during this time, like, my family, everybody was telling me, "Hey, no, this isn't good. Walk away." But I felt that this one time, I just didn't want to listen to anything. I wanted to move forward. And I felt he was honest. I felt he was sincere. So we talked for maybe about 2 months, but there were so many warning signs and red flags that I just refused to listen to. I felt that everything that he was saying to me was true. So I continued. I went out to the Philippines, and when I got there, the first warning was that I had flew 33 hours, all the way over there, and paid so much money to get there. And he disappeared for like the first 24 hours. And I remember crying. There were like several floors of this building. So I went down to the bottom. It's like a smoking area. And I just cried and cried and cried because I couldn't figure out who would do this to a person. And but being forgiving me, nice me, I was like, well, this is the first day we met. So, I went back to our apartments, and all the family was still there. They were staying with us. It was like a lot of them, and they were nice. They were very kind people. But I said, hey, I flew some of them in, and I was like, maybe everybody has to go home because I can't find the person that I came here to see, And they all got on the phone. They started calling, and immediately he just pops up. And I decided to forgive him. Whereas if I was in the United States, I wouldn't have given him a second chance. But I said, this is our first day meeting, so I'm going to just forgive him and try again. And we tried again, and he took me to places all over. I took the family out to eat on the first night. So we all went out to eat to this wonderful restaurant, and it was great. It was good times. I rode on Jeeps and met the best friends, and I met everyone. So I felt that this has to be genuine, right? Because I'm meeting all of the family, but that is not necessarily all the way true, even though they may introduce you to their family, it doesn't mean that that person really, wants to be with you. Sometimes that can be part of a scam. And I don't think that all of the family members were in on a scam, but I will say this, that sometimes when you're dating overseas, the family does get in on it and they do help. I remember I proposed. The proposal night was great. All the family was there. They decorated the room and I proposed, and it was emotional for me because this was the first time, that I was in a relationship that I thought would actually work. I mean, he didn't do drugs. He was nice. He loved God. But in taking all those things and in wanting to be loved so badly, I just ignored a lot of signs. But the engagement was real for me, and I felt it was real for him. He kind of swept me off my feet. I felt he was honest and sincere, and we shared things like, I'm a really giving person. A lot of people might look at our relationship and say, "Oh, this is a sugar daddy thing," but it wasn't that way at all. I really felt that I genuinely found someone that I love and care for, and he cares and loves me too. And so I'm a very, very giving person. I remember I bought a Pomeranian, a teacup Pomeranian, for him, and we called him Pumia. Pumia is the name of the dog, Pumia, and it was our dog. It was our child, you know. But there were a lot of signs that I still refused to pay attention to and to listen to, But I went forward with it anyway. We decided to get married here in Briceville, Florida, and we sent out our save the dates. My entire family stopped talking to me because, they felt that this was a scam or a con. And I just didn't agree. I wanted to believe what my future husband was saying. But here are the things that I want you to watch out for. Sometimes you can want love so much and so badly that you don't listen to your inner self, listen to your friends. One thing about being a Christian is the Holy Spirit is in you and he leads us and guides us. And there were some warning signs, but I just didn't want to believe that. I wanted this to be the final thing. So I don't blame him for anything. This is not a bash him thing. But here's some red flags that I missed. The first red flag was when I went and he disappeared for all of those hours and I was alone. That was the first biggest red flag. If you take time and money to go overseas and go see someone, then they should respect that time and they should be with you and they should spend time with you. The other thing was, our conversations are always 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3. And then he had to go. I never understood that. And after a couple of months, I didn't want to badger, but after a couple of months, I began to say, hey, I'm doing a lot. Like, bought a dog. I came to see you. We got engaged. Maybe you could find time just to talk to me a little more. And he did that. He respected that. He talked to me more. I was always posting pictures of us as a couple because, one, it took a lot to get those pictures going that far. But he never posted a picture of me, never posted us. I even remember having to ask, could you post our status of being engaged or being in a couple? And if you have to do that, if you have to ask someone to post their status when you make so much effort, that's a red flag. And that probably is someone you should steer away from. The other thing is posting. A lot of my friends have different views. Some of the wives that I know here in America, they don't post their husbands or their husbands don't post them. But I will say, when Facebook is the only thing that you have between the two of you and you live so far apart, it really is the glue that holds you together, your love and that. And if that person isn't willing to meet you where you're meeting them, that's a red flag. I would send things, and some people will take this and say, oh, you're sugar daddy. I want to give a precursor to this. Whatever I sent him was because I wanted to. It wasn't me being a sugar daddy or anything because our age was different. But whatever I sent him was out of love because I felt if I lived a certain way, he ought to live the same way that I live. And but he never sent anything back. I mean, anniversaries, birthdays, Christmas came. That's a big thing. If you send gifts all the time, we had a monthsary, we called it. We had a month anniversary every month. And I would always send flowers to his job or to his house or candy or whatever. And I'm not bragging about that. And I don't want him to feel bad about that or anyone else. But if you're constantly doing for someone and they refuse to do for you, or even send a letter or a card, that's a big problem. If a person has a lot of Instagram pages and a lot of Facebook pages, that's also a red flag, because of course you can lose your account number or whatever, but it's a red flag because they could be living other lives. And towards the closer it came to the immigration papers being filed and him coming over here, I would just see more and more things. The family members are another thing. Don't be afraid to ask the family members about this person. When I did, I got mixed answers. Some of the family members said, okay, marry this person. But there were some that were very, very close that said, hey, run. This is not a good idea. And I have some family members that don't like me, so I kind of ignored it. I said, well, if they have some family members that don't like me, maybe my aunts and uncles would say the same thing. But these people were really sent to keep me from being so hurt. Long story short, I don't fault him or anyone. I fault myself. But I want you to know, if you're dating someone online and you're doing more for them than they're doing for you, that's a red flag. If they're not giving you time that you're worthy of, or making you feel like you're worth something, you shouldn't feel on the inside like you're neglected. That type of love is called, I think it's unrequited love. I might be saying it wrong, but unrequited love. And that's when you love someone so much, but you're not getting in return what you're putting out. So in closing, don't rush into any type of marriage or engagement. I rushed. I thought, I'm 38, it's time, let's do this. And I listened to everything he said, but in the end, I found out there may be other people in his life, may or may not be, but in the end, I wasn't getting in return what I was putting out. So I hope this video helps someone else. Don't be afraid to go overseas and date someone. Don't be afraid, but be cautious, because sometimes it is a scam. And $15,000 later, I say to myself, maybe if I had looked at some of those red flags, maybe we would be in a different position. So I love you. I hope you love yourself enough that if you feel on the inside something wrong, then it probably is. And don't be so hungry or thirsty for love that you're willing to accept anything, because you're worth more than that. I love you. I'm glad you watched my video today. I hope it's here to help someone. And again, never to bash him at all, just hopefully to warn you and give you some guidance. If you're dating someone or doing a long distance relationship, you should be getting the same amount that you put in, you should be getting back in return. Thank you.